Dear friends, welcome to my channel. This is Soulful Spinning and my name is Lisa. I'm coming to you from the Chicagoland area in the United States. The channel is called Soulful Spinning because spinning is one of my loves and one of my crafty loves. And for me, crafts and working with wool and fiber is my refuge and feeds my soul, hence the name Soulful Spinning. So welcome to this place. It's mid-September 2023 and coming to you after about a 3-month hiatus from the channel. And yeah, sometimes if I get off the schedule, I have a hard time getting back on. But welcome to my channel. In today's episode, I have a lot to share with you today. Interspersed throughout the episode is going to be some footage of my trip to Jefferson County, Wisconsin, where I went to the Wisconsin Sheep and Wool Festival last Friday with my husband. We only spent the day, the Friday there, which is probably one of the lesser busy days there. And I really got a chance to take some footage of the two. There were two barns full of all the vendors, over 70 vendors. And I went and I spied some of the animals too. They had lambs. Oh boy, you're making a lot of noise, aren't you? Look at the bellies. I wonder if, oh, look at the baby. Oh my goodness. Is this a Hampshire or a Suffolk maybe? Hello there, little one. And it was a very relaxing, cloudy, cool day. And had it not been for the fact that my husband and I slept terrible the night before, because we came up late Thursday and we got a hotel room and neither of us slept very well. So I was a little bit sleep deprived, felt a little raw around the edges. So I maybe didn't enjoy it as much as I might have, but overall it was a lot of fun. Yeah, we got off a real hot spell. We had several days in the 90s, low 90s around here, but today is just a beautiful, cool day. And in Jefferson, it's supposed to be 70 degrees Fahrenheit on Friday. So it's Thursday, we're gonna head up, spend the night and spend the day at the festival on Friday and come home Saturday. Festival.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful day to go to a festival.
Sure is. case we weren't sure where we were this weekend.
Well, your big chair also had a sign that said Jefferson, Wisconsin.
It's a sheep, a very colorful sheep. Yeah, it must have been a wool producing area or fabric producing. Not too close though, I don't want to drop my phone. So maybe they used water power when they had woolen mills here? Probably. Town. Yeah, that is pretty on this side here with the places to sit there. On the way home, we stopped in Fort Atkinson, which is a town, not 10 minutes away from Jefferson, where we went to a little farmer's market where I purchased my beautiful autumnal arrangement. It made its way for 3 hours from in the car with no water, but it seems to have survived the journey okay, and now it's Tuesday and it's looking still pretty good. So yes, we got up there on Thursday. We walked around Jefferson. It's a real small town. There's a nice little river walk area that we walked along, and there's a few probably sights of Jefferson. I had looked to see what was about there, and of course there's a really nice coffee shop there called the Brick House Cafe. We went there twice to grab a bite to eat. And the first purchase I made was at a pottery shop in Jefferson. The pottery is called Twice Baked Pottery. The gentleman that's the maker there is named Scott. And we popped in there Thursday afternoon, later in the day, and he gave us a little tour of his studio and a little demonstration of how he turns and throws his creations. Do you mind if I film you a little bit?
No, that's fine. Unlike the Writers Guild, I'm not on strike.
Or the actors.
Or the actors,
yeah,
that's
the
right.
Actors Guild, yeah.
Okay.
So the first thing I've done is I've centered it, but now I'm kind of stretching it out across the bat, because throwing a chip tray, you're basically throwing a plate with really high sides. I always keep the base of plates or anything that's a tray-like item fairly thick, because when you cut underneath, you're always going to lose a little bit of it.
Yeah.
So now I found the center point, and now I'm...
And he makes it look so easy.
We call
So
this opening up the
hands,
clay.
yeah.
Can you imagine the years it takes to get good at this?
Well, when you're throwing 25,000 pounds a year, you better
It's like
have some
magic.
good practice.
It's like magic, really.
Yeah.
So I just also, after pulling it out, I then just did the first lift of the sides, and now I keep it fairly thick. So I'm just kind of evening, making sure this is fairly even.
So you have, this is a variable speed wheel, so that
Yes.
you can slow it down when you're trying to work on different things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing to remember is, as you slow the speed down, you have to train yourself to also know to slow the speed with which you're lifting your hands,
Yeah.
because you're trying to get it to be even rotations
Yeah.
at the same point. So it's one of those things. When I don't teach very often, but when I do, I always tell people you have to learn how to think with your hands.
Yeah.
And I get this look like, okay, you know, all potters are perceived to be big on other things that start with POT. It's like, no, that's not my scene. But it really, you do have to learn to get a sense of touch, that you can tell the thickness of something just from touching it.
Yeah.
And I have no idea how to explain how that happens. It just,
It's almost like an intuitive knowing
yep.
experience. Yeah.
You get to a point where you just know this is.
Yeah, you get the sensory feedback to your brain that says this is right.
Yep.
When you spin yarn too, it's like that. You know, I like spinning on a wheel that I can control the speed,
Yeah.
because, you know,
Well, and with this,
that's really neat.
as you're, if I'm throwing a vase, the higher I get, the slower I want to go.
Right.
Because you don't want all that centrifugal force.
Right, very cool.
And then we'll put my little spiral in here.
How cool is that? That is so neat.
And it doesn't have to look perfect.
No, well, that's the beauty. I mean, it's hands. It's
I-
perfect, but
If it's not a surface you're going to cut across, I do this because it does remind you, you know, this is handmade.
maker's hands. Right,
yeah,
right.
it's supposed to have imperfections, and
That is so cool.
then this is always the scary part, because I have to cut
You gotta
underneath.
cut it off, huh?
Because if you don't cut underneath, even though I'm going to leave it on the bat, but if you don't make this cut now, it will dry so hard onto it you can't. And as it dries, it shrinks and it's attached. So what's it going to do? It's going to crack.
Crack, right.
So this way,
And then you just let it sit there till it dries.
what'll happen is on a normal day, I throw enough to fill the racks behind you. So I throw on average anywhere from 60 to 75, sometimes 100 pieces a day. Air pockets, it's going to be a mess when you try to take it off the band. And trying to keep it fairly round is
Yeah.
not always there.
So there's your, now I know how you got that,
Yep.
that swirl in there.
Yep. And it looks really cool, and everybody thinks it's so difficult to do. And it's like, no, just
I know, I'm gonna have to buy a mug.
I think you were over here when your phone rang. It's up here.
there it is. Thank you. Yeah. But yeah, I'll just hold this up.
I like this one too. Now I can't decide which one I want to buy. It's just beautiful.
Thank you. Here we go. So yeah. So we just
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, so
that's
that's
a wall art and functional.
yeah. That's neat.
And I saw a lot of similarities to the spinning process in that you're thinking with your hands, and you're working with a wheel that's going round and round. So I'll show you what I purchased. This is my beautiful mug that I bought. I bought 2 mugs, and my young adult son who lives with us, he snagged the second one, and we're not going to be able to use that one. He's like, that one's mine. So yeah, we went, and so we saw him, talked to him, and his story was really interesting, and it gave a nice beginning to our little trip. So here is his card. He ships all over the country. Contact information. I'll put his link below. So while we were on holiday this summer, my husband and my sister and her husband went up to the UP of Michigan, and as you know, a great way to spend your vacation is to knit socks. So I made these red socks this summer. The pattern is from Kate Atherley's book, Custom Socks. But this particular pattern is free and available online. And I will link down below where you can access the pattern. And so online it's called the Wise Hilda Basic Sock Recipe, Basic Ribbed Sock. And it's a 3x1 rib, which was really a lot of fun to knit. It was less tedious, as the pattern writer says. It's less tedious than 1x1. And I did a 3x1 ribbed sock. I cast on 64 stitches, I think. Yes, and knit about a 7-inch cuff. Did a heel flap and gusset with just a stockinette heel, which she recommends in the pattern. I did a heel turn that's square as opposed to round, which I normally do round. And instead of doing a grafted toe, I did a rounded toe where you close it very much like you do the top of a hat. So really a nice way to make a sock and very mindless and easy. My only complaint about these socks is that I didn't knit the heel flap long enough. I think I misread the pattern. And in general, you want your heel flap to be as tall as it is wide. And this one's just a wee bit short, and so it doesn't quite fit me as well as I might like. But overall, they're fine. So I finished those, and I have cast on, and I'm well underway to a second pair of socks. So I knit my socks top down at the same time. So I have 2 sets of double pointed needles, or magic loop I like also. And these are a 2x2 rib, kind of a la Elizabeth Zimmerman. Elizabeth Zimmerman recommends a 2x2 ribbed sock because it fits so well. And this yarn, I don't have the ticket, but it's called Sockalicious by Collage, and it's a superwash merino silk. I think it's got 10% silk, and then it has some nylon in it. Cast on 56 stitches for this sock on a bigger needle than I usually use. I'm using a US 2, which is a 2.5 millimeter. And I've tried it on so far, and it's a nice, snug, comfortable fit. And I'm going to go ahead and continue the 2x2 rib on the top of the foot and then the stockinette on the bottom. This pattern is from Nancy Bush's Folk Sock book, which is from my bookshelf selection for this week. And I am making nothing fancy. She's got a lot of fancy socks in here. But I am knitting the basic sock. I've got so many tags here. I'm knitting this one here. Classic sock. Classic sock pattern and some variations on heel and toe. So this is a nice sock to, if you're learning how to make a sock, this is a great first sock if you don't want to do just a stockinette leg here. Excellent book, full of wonderful tidbits and history of sock knitting through the ages. And she's got a very detailed section in here on how to make a sock, traditionally top down. And she's got all the different techniques that you would need. So highly recommend this book. It has many, many beautiful patterns. And every pattern in the book has detailed photographs and alternate ways that you can do the various parts of the foot. This is a Lithuanian sock here. All from different regions, basically in Britain and in Europe. Here's an Estonian sock. And they have a variety of different techniques used in each of the socks. I want to make these lace socks. They're the Latvian socks. I've always wanted a pair of lace socks. I don't know how practical they would be, but I sure think they're really feminine and cute. yeah, so there's lots of beautiful, beautiful patterns. Here's the Welsh County stockings. You can easily get a copy of this book probably from Thrift Books or A Books, which are two of my favorite vendors, or probably, you know, on Amazon or your local bookstore. But one of the things I really appreciate is that she's got these detailed zoom-in pictures of the different parts of the sock. So yeah, if you're interested in sock knitting and the history of socks, I highly recommend Nancy Bush's book. She has another book called Folk Shawls that I have upstairs on my shelf that I want to showcase on another episode. So yeah, highly recommend Nancy's Folk Socks book of classic in sock knitting. So if you've been following me for a while, you know that I like to spin, and I tend to spin single skeins. I have spun enough for a complete garment. For example, I'm still plugging away at my arboreal sweater with some hand-spun 2-ply CVM. So this is a sweater project, but by and large, I have loads and loads and loads of single skeins, which I guess isn't a unique problem because I was watching Kim from Fairly Fiber Fun, and she was talking about all her hand spun and how she's going to use it up. She's going to make a blanket. And I thought, what a great idea. I want to do that too. So, excuse me, I'm going to get my basket here. Here is just some of my yarn that I am going to use in my Cozy Memories blanket. The Cozy Memories blanket is basically a mitered square blanket. Many knitters make them out of their leftover hand-spun, not hand-spun, their fingering weight sock yarn. Because as you know, you always have leftovers. Even on a big sock, you're going to have leftover sock yarn. But I decided I would make mine out of hand-spun like Kim, so I've been inspired by her. I just pulled out a bunch of different hand-spun skeins of yarn here in my basket. And I will show you how far I've gotten so far. Sorry, I have to keep going out of frame. I have so much stuff laying around me that I'm going to have to bend down and pick it up. So this is what I have so far. It's a nice, scrappy, mitered square blanket. You can find these patterns everywhere online with various ways to handle the decreases here along this diagonal spine. Some patterns call you for doing like a knit two together and an SSK on both sides of the center. I'm using Ellie's recipe, Ellie from Craft House Magic, who's got a delightful channel on YouTube. She has a couple of videos where she shows how she makes her Cozy Memories blanket. And she has got this really nifty way of doing the center double decrease from the wrong side. And it takes a little bit of finagling, you know, you gotta like, change the orientation of the stitches and kind of slip them. You're sort of working that double decrease from the wrong side. But the advantage is when you go to the other side, the right side, you just knit straight across. And so you don't have to worry about that troublesome purl stitch, you know, in between to keep the pattern. So I'm using her pattern. And I'm just using hand-spun, colored hand-spun interspersed with natural colored breed-specific yarn. So let me give you a close-up here what I have so far. So this is Fin Wool spindle spun. This is from a crazy art bat that I made and spindle spun some time ago. This is some real early Corriedale that I spun up. It's very irregular. But I figured I would use even my less than, you know, perfect skeins. This is another art bat that I spindle spun. This is some Shetland from Hilltop Cloud from a color pack that I bought from her. I've got a lot more of these in different shades. This is a beautiful Romney wool. And then this yellow is from a carded prep I bought from Psalm 23 Farm at one of my festivals that I went to years and years ago. And I actually bought something from her again this last time. And then my next square is from the single ply long wool with some, I think I put some sari silk in there. So yeah, I'm just having fun with all of my hand spun. It's going to be kind of a wild and crazy, scrappy blanket. And I'm hoping that I can kind of pull it all together by doing a crocheted or I-cord edge all the way around the blanket when it's completed, maybe in like a black or some solid color to sort of contain, you know, all the riot of color. So that's a lot of fun, and I've been really excited about that, and there's so much satisfaction in finishing one square. So I'm casting on 49 stitches, exactly the way Ellie does it in Craft House Magic, except I'm using this DK worsted weight yarn for my blanket. And what I thought it would be a great use for all this spindle spun yarn I have from Inglenook Fibers. So for the last couple of Christmases, I've purchased their 12 Days of Christmas, and I have this whole bag of just all these beautiful beautiful little balls of hand spun. And they've all just been sitting in a basket. They haven't been plied. I haven't decided how I'm going to do this. I may take two similar colors, apply them together. Like, so this is, you know, navy and more of a purple. Or I might wind them into center pull balls and then ply them from the inside and the outside. So, but I have this, all this yarn basically, mostly done on Turkish spindles. And I think this would be a great use. See, these two are so similar. They're so similar that I could ply those together. So each square, the first square I made was 12 grams. So I'm figuring 12 to 15 grams, 18 grams per square, which, you know, so you can use a very small amount of hand spun to get a single square. So stay tuned for this. I'm really excited to use up this bag of wool here and start using some of my stash. And I'm getting older now, and I kind of worry, well, not worry, but I think about when I'm gone or if something happens to me, what's going to happen to all this. So if I make a blanket, at least it'll be a blanket that somebody could use and not just random skeins. So that's been my knitting that I've been working on, that and my sock. And then I've just started working on this again because it's September, it's getting colder, and I probably could use a sweater this fall as it arrives here. Yes. So that's my knitting.
It's a Peaches dog. Doesn't that look like Peaches just a little bit? You're a service dog. I can't pet you. You are so cute, though.
She's like, I was wearing a shawl. I looked really cute.
You're beautiful. You're so cute. I don't have anything.
Spinning, well, I have finished up quite a bit of little spins here. I finished some Shetland wool. I spun this from a fleece I purchased this summer. Here's it's not a super soft Shetland. It's more of the longer wavier type Shetland that I purchased from Eureka Farms just this summer. And I carded it up. I'll show you a lock here. So it's off-white with some shades of brown and mocha. And I've got it in this bag here. I had to scour this. I think I had to scour it twice because I didn't get it clean enough the first time. Very nice open preparation when you card it up. And I haven't done the yardage on this, I have to say, but a beautiful semi-worsted, I would say semi-worsted. I like to card any locks that are 3 inches or under. I prefer to card, but I do tend to put them in one direction, and then when they come off the carder, they're somewhat aligned. And then when I spin in a semi-woolen or semi-worsted, I'm getting more of I feel like this is more of a worsted spin, which is a smoother spin and not quite as fluffy. You know, you can see the nice ply structure. And I need to spin way more and stick this in a dye pot, I think. I have lots and lots of marigolds outside. And a first frost is upon us in another month or so. And I have thought of harvesting the marigolds and trying some dyeing with that. I think that's probably one of the easiest ways to use natural dye stuffs. All right, let's talk about spindles. I have a lovely friend, Doro, who lives in Pennsylvania. And Doro is a speed demon when it comes to spinning on spindles. And Doro was so sweet that she sent me a Mirkwood spindle. I don't have one of these. It's a very, it's got little gemstones in it. And it doesn't have a real pointy tip. So it's just kind of interesting spin. And she sent this to me as well as some of her, she sent me some Shetland wool. I have that upstairs. I'll have to show that to you on another day. So I am spinning up these lovelies here. Like I said, I've got loads of stuff here. These are what I have so far. Let me get the tag here. Here's another one. Here's a purple one. This is a little sampler set from Inglenook Fibers. It was 4 ounces of, I think she's calling it ethereal blend. 25% Rambouillet, 25% merino, 25% silk, 15% baby alpaca, and 10% tweed blend or sari. And so far I have all of these spun up. I did these on Turkish spindles here. All these beautiful pastel shades. And then I spun a whole little bump on this. So I'm going to do a center pull ball and just ply it onto itself. And then I'm well on my way to spinning this color here. I won't take it out of the plastic. It's this pink shade in here. Here's my teeny tiny Turkish spindles that I've been using. But I thought it would be fun to use my support spindles for a few of these. This is one of my support spindles from, I can't remember the maker. It's a Swedish maker. And it's a beautiful, beautiful spindle. So doing that while we watch TV at night. And then another another support spindle came my way is this one. This one is from Enid Ashcroft. Enid makes Turkish spindles, mainly drop spindles and support spindles. And I was looking on Etsy and she had one available. She does updates on Saturday mornings, UK time, or no, it's Saturday morning for us. It's probably like Saturday evening. And it's really hard sometimes to get an update. So did I need another Turkish support spindle? No, I didn't, but I couldn't resist. This is camphor laurel, and then I don't know, bloodwood shaft. Very beautiful. And on here, I'm spinning up very old stash. Very, very old stash by Inglenook Fibers. She does beautiful, Mother Macrina does beautiful work there. It's called Grecian Island, I think. So, and then here's the tag for the Enid Ashcroft. So every time you buy a Enid Ashcroft spindle, she gives you a little tag with all the information. And I keep it in a file. So I probably should take pictures with all the tags so that, you know, people will know what it is. So yeah, so that's what I've spun up on here. So when I was at Wisconsin Sheep and Wool, I stopped by Handspun by Stefania. And Handspun by Stefania is actually, she's St. Charles, I think it's a husband and wife, and they're in St. Charles, Illinois. And they had a booth where they were selling some spindles. He had these, a couple of these. This is a spindle from Dragonfly Studio on Etsy. And they also had some spindles by True Creations and some nice Turkish spindles from Snyder Spindles. And again, I will link everything I talk about, I will link down below so that if you're interested, you can go ahead and check them out. But yeah, here's the tag here, information. So it's really neat. It's a colored wood. I don't have any like this that are, you know, stripy. And I'm spinning up another thing I purchased at the fair, the festival. I bought some fiber from a favorite producer. Her name is Laura. She used to be Laura Matthews. I think she's Laura Berry now. And I don't think she's raising animals right now. She's raising a young family. But I had, when I first started my spinning journey, I had purchased some Coopworth fleece, I think a Coopworth Shetland cross, and some Shetland fleeces from her. And she has these 1/2 ounce half pound. So bumps of fiber. This is Coopworth with bamboo. And when I went to her booth, she had this like dreamsicle orange color, and then my husband looked at this, he goes, well, that's pretty. Why don't you get this? So very nice open preparation, you know, carded up and very nice and open. This would be just so nice for a new spinner, or really any spinner. So I'm spinning this up on my new spindle, new to me maker, and I'm spinning it into kind of a thick single. It's a heavier spindle, but it's got beautiful, beautiful spin. Spins quite a long time. And I'm spinning it not too fine. I find that long wools are really, can be spun a little bit thicker than a fine wool. So you can see I'm getting a nice heavy worsted weight 2-ply. So yeah, very cool. And what I like about this one is he's got little etching on here. It says the Dragonfly Workshop with a dragonfly on there. You can see that. So Laura has these mohair, kid mohair locks, and you can just pick what colors you like, and then she sells them by the ounce. And I think I have some of this upstairs in my room, but here's these beautiful shiny soft locks, and I just got an ounce of every color that she had, and you can just pick them out for yourself. So beautiful, beautiful. So yes, you could either spin this on its own, or I'm thinking of making some bats. It's very, very pretty. All right, speaking of mohair, a lovely viewer contacted me and asked me if I would want some of her fiber from her goats, and of course I said yes. Here, there we go. There we go. Okay. So here's another card here. I hope I've been in focus all this time. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what it looks like. Woodland Wind Weft. Oh, sorry. Wind Weft Fiber Farm and Studio Mohair Locks, Baby Doll Cheviot bats for spinning or needle felting, Nigora Fleece, Waldorf style dolls. Her name's Joanne, and she's the goat herder and an artisan. So I will put her contact information in the description. What a beautiful, beautiful card. So she asked me if I wanted some goat fiber. And of course, I'm not going to say no. Who says no to purebred Angora? So she sent me some beautiful, beautiful fiber. So this is some white mohair. And this is from Phoebe, who's a purebred Angora and its second clip kid. And this is 1 ounce and it's going everywhere. It's beautiful, precious, precious fiber. So incredibly, incredibly soft. Beautiful. So she sent me 1 ounce of that. And then this is first clip kid. Phoebe's Doling, 1 ounce, purebred. Oh my goodness, this is so soft too. So what I understand about mohair and its grades is that, yes, kid mohair often refers to like the first shearing, but some goats can have soft fiber, you know, throughout some of their adulthood. And so they have different characteristics. So this is first clip. It's got a longer staple, a little more wavy, I think, than the others. So that's pure Angora. But wait, there's more. And then she sent me another first clip kid mohair. swatches here. This is more of his, yeah, beautiful. This is more of a taupe shade. And then she also sent me some combed mohair. What does it say here? Okay, this is 75% Angora and 25% Nigerian dwarf. And she combed it for me. So I'm thinking this has to be spun very thin on my support spindles, a la, you know, goats that they use for the very, very nice shawls. You know, those beautiful shawls they make in, can't remember now, gossamer shawls. So yeah, so she sent me some, an ounce of carded prep, combed prep. So if I spin this very thin, it would probably be enough to make a shawl. But I don't know if I can do that because I don't spin that thin, but on a sports spindle you might be able to do that. So thank you so much, Joanne, if you're watching. I so appreciate the lovely card and the mohair, and I can't wait to use some of that and report back on how it spins up. I'm sure it's going to be lovely. So yes, lots going on here over here at Soulful Spinning.
I like your colorful coats. Hello there, Suffolk. Is this a Teeswater? Yes. Lily, aren't you beautiful? You're so beautiful. Yes, you are. Are you friendly? Are you friendly? You're probably used to being handled, huh? Hello. So friendly.
at the fleece on you. You're beautiful. I think there's just, oh, let's save the best for last. Let's see if I'm still filming okay. Yeah. So I told myself I wasn't going to buy any fleeces, that if I bought any fiber, it was going to be prepared fiber because I have too much fleece and, you know, yada, yada, yada. Well, I did go all the way around through all the vendors. I didn't make any purchases. My husband says, wow, you're being so good. You're not buying anything. And then I had passed a stand called Observatory Hill Farm. And when I put my hand in the bags of fiber, I said, oh, that's CVM. It's got to be CVM. And the shepherd there, I think he's Australian, said, no, this is Corriedale. It's super fine on the finer side, Corriedale wool. And as I got to talking to the shepherd, he said that they were getting a lot of their stock from Whitefish Bay, Corriedales. Dick and Gretchen, I can't remember their last name, but Whitefish Bay has been a very well-respected purveyor of fine Corriedale and some more traditional wavy style Corriedales through the years. And I think that they've retired or they're slowing down. I'm not 100% sure. But boy, Whitefish Bay fleeces would just sell like that. Like you had to know when they were going to be uploaded, and then you just had to buy. So I do have, of course, I have a couple of their fleeces in my stash. But what was really lovely about Observatory Hill is that they were selling just half fleeces. And they were selling them at $20 a pound, which I thought for a coated fleece, vegetable matter free, I thought was just such a good price. I know that may seem like a lot, and it is, but I mean, some people are selling fleeces for $60 a pound, so, and half of that goes in the wash water. So the first one I saw was this beautiful silver gray. Well, I walked away, you know, I walked up and down I thought, oh, it'll be back when I go back. Well, that was gone. So I came back and I bought 2 half fleeces. So this one is Sophia, and it's this beautiful Morit Corriedale. And I did take one little lock and I kind of washed it. This is the washed, and this is the raw. You can't even tell a difference, really. And it's a beautiful Morit. So the lady said that when she split the fleeces, she would lay the whole fleece out, you know, in the shape of the animal, and then she would cut it right down the center. And that's how they divvied up the fleeces, which, I mean, it really is such a great idea because a lot of people really don't want 4 or 5 pounds of fleece. They just really want a couple pounds. So let me show you Sophia. Sophia's very, it's very consistent color. It's just a Morit brown. It's just really, really pretty. He did say that there might be some Bond genetics in there. I want to do a whole episode on Corriedale Bond because it's fascinating breed and history. So I've got 1.8 pounds. Probably after washing, I'll, you know, maybe 60 to 70% yield after it's been washed, after the lanolin is gone. But there's no waste in here. I'll have to lay it out, of course, and see if the britch area is very much different than the front. So see how much usable wool I can get out of there. I kind of wish I bought both halves. But I was holding back. I've got a lot of fleece. So the other half I bought a little bit bigger. I bought Gilbert. And this was 2.5 pounds. And Gilbert is, forgive me the crinkling here, Gilbert is a variegated. I think that Dick at Whitefish Bay would say vanilla gray variegated when they described it. Look at this, beautiful. It's so soft, and then it's got shades of, yeah, there was a fleece that was just this color, and I didn't buy it, and then it goes into the dark, dark shades of charcoal. See in the back here, so So you've got these beautiful variegated shades. So yeah, I'm going to use this these waning days of summer and early fall to get these 2 fleeces washed up, dried, and I think I'm going to card it on, I have a Strouch fine carder. I'm going to experiment with woolen spun. Woolen spun yarn has a little more loft, and it's you get more yardage for the weight because there's more air incorporated into the yarn, and so you can get more yarn out of the fleece. So I would like to make. I think it would really be nice to make a garment, a cardigan or something, possibly out of both fleeces together. Maybe doing a little color work in there. But yeah, I was I was very lucky that I was there Friday and there was plenty of fleeces. This show does not have a big fleece sale like, I don't know, I've never been to Maryland or Rhinebeck, but they have huge barns with fleeces for sale. This is a very small venue. They had a Shetland show, and I think you could buy Shetland fleeces with through private treaty, whatever that is. I guess you just work with the breeder. But I didn't buy a Shetland. I bought these 2, and very, very happy that I did. So yeah, I got some fleece. Ah, it was so fun. So I had a package waiting for me when I came home. And MCAL 2023, baby. Super excited. All right, I did the MCAL last year in 2022. And here was the little bag that came with it. You're a knitter, baby. And I did finish the twists and turns well after the deadline. There's no way I was going to be able to finish it in a month. But, you know, I kind of got it hooked up with all the hype. You know, Stephen had a video on the kits. And when he revealed this kit, my jaw dropped. I was like, oh my God, I have to get that kit. And I thought, well, I'm never going to get it because you know how I'm not a competitive shopper, you know. But he said that the fleeces, not the fleeces, I'm getting so tired. The kits would go up for sale at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock Amsterdam time, which I figured was 9 o'clock my time. So at about 8:57, 8:58, I'm like, oh, I'm going to go over there and just see what's going on. Well, they came up on the website, and I got my first choice. Ah, this is the lipstick gradient. He had these 2 with another 2 colors, and he called it, it was like the velvet gradient or something like that. And then he took the 2 away, and then he put these 2 on there. And I was like, oh my God, they're so beautiful. Punk Rock Unicorn. This color is just, it's called Uzu. It's just knock your socks out orange, which I'm not sure about that one. But here they are. And came with a bunch of goodies because I bought the kit. Came with a participation award, holographic card. It came with a bag, and a bag that's very Art Deco here. And then I think it came with it came with a label, which I didn't use last year, and then it came with a sticker and a gauge, little goodies here, goodie bag. So yeah, I jumped on the bandwagon pretty quick here. So I'm excited about this year's MCAL. I mean, last year I told myself I would wait till the first clue came out to decide if I wanted to do it. But I just want to be part of the fun. I love following Irina Ashar and Martin, Knit 365 blog. they're doing a collab this year again with this MCAL, and it's so much fun. You know, it's, I don't know, that sense of belonging, you know. So I have these shades, and this one is just, talk about a pop of color, right? So I did go through my stash, and I'm sure I could have put a kit together with my stash, but I did find this coral color. This is a Miss Babs coral color. It's actually called coral. It's a sock yarn. It's the same blend, merino nylon. And I thought if the orangey color is too much, I might go with the coral. So he called for a gradient, basically 4 shades. They didn't have to be all the same color family, but they needed to be a light. They crescendo, as Stephen says, into the dark. So what do you think? I kind of like that coral. It shows up a little bit better here, as opposed to this, which I don't know, but you know, it's a Stephen chosen pattern. That orange just really doesn't go with my skin tone. But I think this would really make a pop. So Punk Rock Unicorn, the lipstick gradient. Can't wait. Can't wait. My husband and son we're going to go to the southwest Michigan. We've rented a house on the lake shore, Lake Michigan. We're going to go the 28th through the 5th of October, and that Thursday, the 5th, is when the first clue comes out. So I will be raring to go when we get back from our little beach vacation. I hope the weather's nice. It could be beautiful, it could be warm, it could be freezing, so we don't really know. But yeah, so I'm pretty, are you doing the MCAL? Stephen West, he's such a genius. He keeps coming up with these ideas, and his tutorials and explanations on how to do all the techniques are so valuable. And I learned a lot last year. I learned a lot about picking up stitches and cabling without a cable needle, and I feel like my skill set really improved when I participated, so I can't wait. I hope it's not too modular. I know he's doing a lot of these fragmentation type shawls and jumpers and such, and I hope it's not knit a tiny stripes and then pick up. I hope there's some like easy knitting, you know, where you just keep knitting. But we'll see. Like Martin says, in Stephen we trust. So, so I'm pretty excited about the MCAL that's coming up. All right. I don't know. I might have to cut this video into 2 parts because I think it's going to be too long with the footage of the Wisconsin Sheep and Wool Festival. So we'll see what'll happen there. I'm sitting on my my quilt in progress. I have working on my quilt inspired by all the quilters on YouTube. And this is my Throw Daisy quilt. I've got it all. I've got the backing. It's beautiful floral. And I'm hand quilting this. I'm hand quilting this onto my little circular frame with some pearl cottons and some Aurifil 12 weight. So, so I don't know if you're interested in on how I'm doing that. I have a little bit of footage of me hand quilting that I might insert or maybe do a separate video. Not really sure. So anywho, I think that's all for us today, friends. I hope this finds you well. I hope you're hanging in there and your anxiety is at bay, and you're finding some time to enjoy the things you like to do, and I hope you and your family are very well. So until next time, take care, and we'll see you real soon. Bye for now.